Hello, everyone. Well, Eastern Europe had an uneasy morning this morning when Poland had to scramble its jets as Russia expanded its attacks all the way across Ukraine, all the way to the west. So the aircraft were scrambled early to ensure the safety of Polish airspace. And again, it's just another example that nobody is safe. Russian military has some very outdated, very old, very crappy guidance systems. And the more they try to bombard all of Ukraine, including the West, the higher the risk that Eastern Europe will see some of it. That's Poland, Moldova, Romania, those areas. Basically, go take a look at the map and you can see who is at risk. In addition, there's been a continued series of air raids against Kyiv. There's been continued series of attacks in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Now, Russian media is saying that some advances have been made, but again, anything said there needs to be double and triple checked. I like this guy. So this gentleman is Ukraine's heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, who sent a direct message to Trump. And I would like to extend his message to everybody who questions the information I share here and information shared by other sources covering the war in Ukraine. Go find out. Go see for yourself. Clearly, we cannot present you enough sources, enough information, enough links, enough screenshots, enough photographs for you to believe what is happening there. So, go find out. And yeah, I am with this guy. Trump should go and stay there for a week. This gentleman is generously offering his own house in Ukraine for President Trump to go and stay in and just observe. I'm sure there are plenty of other Ukrainians who would be happy to host you. I mean, I can call up my parents and ask them if they can take in a house guest. Because when you're down there on the ground, suddenly people have these eye-opening experience that this is not a squabble, this is not some little territorial spat, this is a real war where people are dying. And for those who are saying, oh, this is a NATO proxy war against Russia, guys, if this were the case, why would they allow it to go on as long as it has? Why don't they just give everything to Ukraine? Every possible weapon, every possible supply, and end it quickly so that they could win. Because, I mean, you personally, if you started a conflict with somebody by proxy through someone else, wouldn't you supply your proxy with every possible tool in order to win over your opponent? So how come the war has been going on for as long as it has? And how come Ukraine is struggling in some areas to get the things that it needs to fight this? There is a magnificent article on the Center for Strategic Initiative and Study website talking about a lot of the questions that were raised by folks both who are gloating over Ukraine's tragedies and those who are genuinely concerned. You know, the news of Russia's advances, the concerns that these massive air raids are going on and people are dying, the worries about possible upcoming offenses, and so on and so forth. So this is very long and extremely detailed. But if you want to see every possible aspect discussed about Russia's position as it stands today, this is a wonderful source. Find this, read it. I strongly recommend it. Not only do they present amazing amount of information and kind of putting it into perspective, they're also presenting some great graphs and tables that demonstrate Russia's position in numbers. So if you're a numbers person or if you're a visual person, they have some wonderful examples that are showing you that Russia's position is far from perfect. They talk about something that I have mentioned many, many times, and that is Russia's approach to war and the fact that that has been their approach for a very long time, which basically is to overwhelm, to throw as many bodies as possible, to try and push their way through. And this is getting harder and harder because look at the equipment losses by type. This is in a year and a half, or almost a year and a half, from January 24 to April 25. And Russia's fatalities in the war in Ukraine compared to their 20th century conflicts since World War II. Obviously, World War II stands on its own. But this is some of the stuff that Russia has been engaged in over the years. And the effect is undeniable. So they come to the same conclusion in this article. Russia does not hold all the cards. There is no argument that Ukraine's situation is dire. But just saying offhand, oh no, the war is already lost. No, that's irresponsible and also not based on fact. Case in point. So there's been another strike by Ukrainians against this one, in this case, Russian electronic warfare facility in Chuvashia, which is not closed. Again, feel free to look it up on the map. You're getting all kinds of geography knowledge from this. And find out for yourself where it was. And this is just one of the series of the brilliant attacks carried out by Ukrainians over the last few days. Intelligence analyst Ryan Macbeth, whose videos on Ukraine I strongly recommend on YouTube. He's wonderful at explaining the equipment used and the operations, had said that you should not give your enemy problems, you should give them dilemmas. Because a problem is something you can solve. A dilemma is a situation where you're not even sure what the problem is, therefore finding a solution is difficult. That is exactly what Ukraine has been delivering lately with its Operation Spiderweb, and then what they're now calling the Operation Spiderweb 2.0, the strike against the Crimean Bridge, this particular hit. They are hitting Russians where it hurts. They are hitting the sources of weapons before they can be launched. It's a lot easier to destroy an airplane on the ground than when it has taken off, gone up, and dropped a bomb on you. And that is exactly what Ukrainians are doing. It's a lot easier to destroy a military supply train before it had even reached its destination. And that's exactly what they're doing. More to come.